This week on Food Craftsman, why we cook. And I'd also like to send a special congratulations to a good friend of mine, Jay Keys, chef and owner of the Angel Oak restaurant. He just told me that he's purchasing the land that his restaurant sits on. And I just found out he's having a baby. So congratulations to Jay and his wonderful wife. You can find him on Johns Island, South Carolina. So if you are in the area or driving through, go over to Angel Oak Restaurant, say hi to Jay and his wife, and have a little dinner. I hope you enjoy it. Growing up, most people choose their professions. Kids all over the world decide what they want to be when they get older. For some of us, the opposite happens. We are chosen. We are called to a profession. When I was young, there was no Food Network, no cooking channel. The Food Network debuted in 1993, well after I knew what I was supposed to do with my life. Chefs weren't celebrities. Chefs were faceless workers hidden in the kitchen. We didn't know who they were, what the chefs looked like, or their philosophies on where the produce came from.
I got my first job working in a kitchen about 14 or 15 years old, washing dishes. I started to take food service in high school. We had a restaurant called Central Station in our high school. By the time I was a senior, I had it 4 periods out of 6 every day.
As a child, I cooked breakfast on Saturday and Sunday mornings. My father, bless his heart, would eat anything I put together. Believe me, there were some scary concoctions. I continued to cook alongside my great-grandmother Iva. She brought me into the kitchen to keep me out of trouble with my brother and cousins. I would stand next to her, my head barely above the countertops. Iva would have me help her prepare her beef and noodles. What drove me to continue cooking was the love and admiration I received when I brought dinner to the table. Like so many others, it is a family member who brings us into the kitchen.
I realized that I was born to do this, that my mother was a tremendous cook. She showed me what it meant to be a craftsman, that you had to do things a certain way to get a certain outcome. From there, I was probably the youngest guy at Schoolcraft. When I started there, straight out of high school, I got out, got into a club again, but I still thought I would be something else for my career.
As time went on, it went beyond the love and admiration. Quickly, I realized it was the one thing I was truly good at. The kitchen is where I belonged.
And I decided to try to leave a little bit, and I played music, and I made art, and I tried to make a living doing those things, and it didn't work. I realized that I had a skill set, and I could be as creative as I wanted to be, express myself as I wanted to, and work in that familiar, fun environment that I already knew.
It is the joy I brought to people, the idea of sitting with family and friends at a table, sharing a meal, is what I fell in love with. Today, fewer and fewer people are cooking at home, even with the rise of the Food Network. Michael Pollan, author of the book Cooked, believes cooking goes beyond the simple joy of making food for yourself or family. He says, "The decline of everyday home cooking doesn't only damage the health of our bodies and our land, but also our families, our communities, and our sense of how our eating connects us to the world." Ironically, it is that very same feeling of connection to the world and to the people in it that drives most people to become chefs in the first place.
I realize now that this is who I am, and it's who I've always been, and I couldn't see myself sitting in an office or working outside even. I'm a chef, and I know no other life.
The quote from Michael Pollan was taken from an interview with PBS NewsHour. You also heard from Nick Lundberg. He is the executive chef of Oakhurst Country Club in Clarkston, Michigan. If you'd like to submit your story, all you have to do is record a simple voice memo on your smartphone and email it to ryan@foodcraftsman.com. Keep an eye out for topics that I'll be covering so you can submit your story as well. I look forward to hearing from you. Remember, everybody, food is life, and life is great. See you next time on The Food Craftsman.